All right, trappers, welcome back. Today we're going to do a weight training workout, and to do that we're going to be doing the bench press, and we're also going to be doing arm curls and reverse curls. So I'm just going to show you what we're looking for on the bench press for those of you that have not done this before. If you're fortunate enough to have a bar, all these bars have markings, and when I get down there, I'm going to use those markings to make sure that my grip is symmetrical. So when you do the bench press, most people like to have 6-point contact. My feet on the ground, my butt's on the ground, both shoulder blades on the ground. You'll see that I'm going to raise my feet. That's fine as long as you have confidence in your balance. All right, so as I get down here, here's these lines. I like to put my pinky just outside the most outside line. You can go thumbs out from these marks, but these marks are just so you get your hands equal. When you come off the bench, what you do, this is called locking it out. Instead of coming straight down into my first rep, I want to lock it out so I can feel how much weight I have. And then I'm going to go down and up. I'm going to go 10. Okay, there's my 10th. When we're in the classroom, we like to make sure there's always a spotter. And if you have somebody around, they would stand right where Miss Faye is, and all she would do is grab the bar and just make sure that I get that bar racked. She just hangs around, and if I have any trouble, then she's going to help me lift the bar. All right. Next, we're going to do some variations of the bench press. Welcome back, and now we're going to do the bench press, but many of you do not have the bars, and many of you don't have dumbbells, but I'm going to use dumbbells. I'll show you some weights that you can use to substitute, but I'll show you how you can do the dumbbell press. So this is just basically the bench press action. Remember before us here, usually the arms are in this direction. I'm going to come up and angle this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 10. If you had a spotter, Miss Faye she'd stand behind me, and all she would be doing is that making sure if I get in any kind of trouble that she's there for me. The great thing about dumbbells is you just can put them out to the side. All right, we're back, and we're going to do the dumbbell press again, except for these aren't dumbbells. These are water jugs. They have water in them, and obviously that adds weight. You can use cans of food or any weight you can find. And when I do these, it's the same exact action in that I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to go up, just like a bench press, and down. Now, I'm not going to do the rotation like I did with the dumbbells because these water jugs are a little more cumbersome. If you fill these jugs, I think they're about 7 pounds, or you could do them half full, quarter full, however you want to do it. This one's starting to leak on me. All right, so there's another variation of the bench press. This one is called the milk jug dumbbell press.
Good.
We're now going to look at our 4th variation of the bench press. And on this one, I just grabbed some different weights. Some people might have just weights around. Again, we use water jugs, so you can use cans, but you can just use weights as they are. Now, everybody doesn't have a bench. We have the bench, obviously, and the other bench that I use. But so we're just going to find creative ways that we can do the dumbbell press. So I'm going to get down on the bench and I'll do the dumbbell press. All right, so what I've done is I've stacked 2 steppers on top of each other, and you can be creative with different ways. Now the reason I'm doing that is so that my elbows can clear. If I was on the ground, I'd only be able to go to 90 degrees. So I've stacked these so I can get some clearance with my elbow. And I'm just going to use these weights and basically do what we call a dumbbell press, which is the same action as the bench press. So there's 10. Okay, this is going to be the last variation of the bench press or dumbbell press. And I'm going to use some PVC pipe, but if you have broomsticks, most anything would work. And this is, I'm going to do it on chairs, and you can see I'm going to lay this way on the chairs. And again, that's going to allow my elbows to clear. So I left myself a little space right here. So here we go. I can't go all the way down to my chest because I'm hitting the back of the chair a little bit, but this is plenty of for the range of motion for this exercise. If you had a spotter, I'd tell them just to stand by in case I fall. All right, 2 more. All right, this is called biceps curls. We worked our triceps here when we did the bench press. Now we're going to work our biceps. These two muscles, they're antagonistic. They work against each other. So if you work one, you want to work the other. So on this, I just put my pinkies right on that where the smooth goes to the rough. And I always tell my students, lock your elbows into your side. And then I tell them, go all the way up and all the way down. You want to have as big an arc as you possibly can. Now here's what it looked like if I don't have my elbows in front, tucked in. If I move it back, see how there's no range of motion. So you got to have them here, and then don't break down as you come. Go all the way up, all the way down. So I'm going to do a set of 10. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we go with the second round of curls. This time I'm using dumbbells. And again, curls, all you need is some weight. We'll show some other weight variations. And this way, I like to go one-armed. I go up, when I go down with that, then I come up with this one. So there's the action. And this really makes my back feel better. The other way I felt like I had to stabilize my back. This way, it feels like it's being stabilized by the other side. Now, we're doing sets of 10. Since I'm only doing one arm, then I'll go to 20. 15. All right, that's 20. Now, if you wanted to do more, please do. I mean, if you don't have the big weights, or you feel like you're not getting enough exercise, just do more. We're back for a third variation of bicep curls, and this one is just going to be one arm. And when I do one arm curls today, I'm going to use the water jug again. And the way we do this is, remember how we tucked our elbow in before? This time I'm going to tuck my elbow right into my thigh, and that allows me to work against that leg. So here we go. I'm going to go all the way up, all the way down. All right, so that's a set of 10, but if we're asking you to do sets of 10s, then obviously I would do the other arm now for a set of 10. I'm not going to do that, but you would do each arm for a set of 10. Now for our last exercise of this workout, we're going to do reverse curls. Now the biceps curls, we go this way, and we're working that biceps muscle. Here, we're going to reverse our grip. Everything else pretty much stays the same, and this is a great forearm exercise. So I'm just going to go all the way up, all the way down. And I'll give you a side angle of that all the way up, all the way down. And you just want to keep it slow and controlled and do a set of 10. This is different than when we did upright rows where we stayed tight to the body. Here we're going all the way around. Reverse curls, this is the second set. This time I'm using dumbbells. Same thing, I'm going to tuck them in and up. Trying to get as much of an arc in there as possible. Then and I'll show you what I mean by that. See how the weight is going all the way up and around. 3 more. 9 and 10. And this is our last set of reverse curls. If you remember when we did the biceps curls, I like to do the alternating method. You can do the same with the reverse curls. So I go up with the right, down, and then up with the left. Just staying slow and controlled with each movement. The key is to keep your palm on top of the weight. So my palm's facing down. And if you can see on the side here, all right, and so before we go, just a reminder, on the bench press and the bench press variations, 5 sets of 10, 5 sets of 10. And then on the biceps curls, 3 sets of 10. The reverse curls, 3 sets of 10. So today we're going to do a leg workout. We've done a lot of squats. We did air squats, we're on the wheel, some different things, but we want to go over what it is that a real squat's supposed to look like. So Ms. Faye is going to be our example today. And as you can see, remember when we talked about the bench press, the lines on the bar? So as she's holding the bar, she's ultimately going to put it on her back. And to do that, before she does that, she wants to make sure that her hands are even. So you go ahead and put that bar on your back. And if you feel there's that knot here, that's your first cervical vertebra. You don't want the bar on that. You want it below that. And you can tell that she's gone below her first cervical. All right. So stance, shoulder width. And if anything, and most people will naturally do this, toes will be slightly pointed out. And Ms. Faye, that's her deal. Now, she's going to do basically a deep knee bend. But I want you to watch that her knees stay over her feet. The mistake is when your knees come forward. In order to do that, our cadence at school is we say bars up, feet set, and then I'll say tilt your hips. That means I'm going to tilt my hips because my butt is actually going to go back and down as opposed to my knees going forward. And so Ms. Faye's got it. So when she gets started, she's going to do a set of 10. So you're on your own there. Ready to go. Here's variation number 2 on the squat. So today on this one we're going to do front squats. And front squats, the only difference is before we did back squats, the bar was on her back. On front squats, she's going to bring the bar up and she's going to put it right here and she's going to rest it on her front shoulder. Now, when you do this, you want to get your elbows as high as you can, and what you need to do is really let that wrist go. If you're a little tight and you can't do that, what you can do is cross your arms. Go ahead and try that. Crossing your arms and then just grabbing the bar with now your palms down. Now this is not as heavy, so she's not going to have any problem with that. Now, this is a better lift because the bar, your hips, your knees, and your feet are all in line. And that's why people in the higher levels prefer front squat to the back squat. All right, so the same things apply, except we've added one little cheat step here. When you do a squat, if your knees come forward, your heels will come off the ground. We don't want that. We want your knees to stay straight, your heels on the ground. If you put a little weight underneath your heels, that gives you just a little bit better angle to do the squats. All right, so there's one. We got to do a set of 10. Variation number 3 on the squats. This is basically a hug squat, and the reason we call it a hug squat is for you to figure out yourself. All she's doing is grabbing any kind of weight. Some people in class will grab a 45-pound weight, any kind of weight, a sack of potatoes, but she grabbed the file cabinet from over here and then she dumped a bunch of potatoes inside of them. So everything else, feet set, tilt your hips, set at 10, ready and go. All right, on the hug squats, and she'll tell you this, that because that weight, you've really heavy loaded yourself out front, it's even more important that you stay back, knees above your feet. Otherwise, you're going to go over this way because it's the natural feel when you have the weight when you're doing front squats. Fourth variation of squats, and we are going to add a degree of difficulty. And to do this, Ms. Faye, she's going to actually put the bar over her head as if she just got through doing a shoulder press, and now she's going to do a squat. Overhead squat, we call it. And you'll notice if you try these that it is a little bit more difficult, especially with the balance and things going on both in your legs and in your arms. So the cadence is always bars up, she's got that, feet set, tilt your hips. That's when we're going to tilt our hips so that we're going straight down and go. All right, and very similar to the hug squats, it's really critical that you go straight down. And you saw it maybe on a couple where as she's going down, if that bar gets forward, then you just have to bring it down and start over, don't worry about it. That was very good. Were those more difficult?
Yeah, totally. So works different muscles for certain.
So to finish the leg workout, we're going to do lunges. We've done them in several ways. We're going to do them just in a stationary position. So as we know that a lot of you don't have a lot of space to work with. So on the front lunges, all Ms. Faye will do, she's going to go out with her right foot, and her left knee will drop down near the ground, but not on the ground, and her right knee is above her foot. And that's the posture you want when you do your lunge. All right, so ready and go. And then here's a variation to the lunge. Some people, for different reasons, balance, whatever it is, maybe they're having a little knee problems. What you do is you can just pre-take your steps. So she's already into her lunge position, already with the straddle, and she's going to just in place do her lunges. So for the leg workout, do 5 sets of 10 repetitions on the squats. You can do any variation. When you write that in, just tell us the variation you did. We're very interested to know. And if you'd like to do more reps because you don't have the weight in your house, feel free to do that. On the lunges, do 3 sets of 10.